Oh, well, hello now. You have surprised me with joining me again on chapter 14, part 3. Yeah. Well, let's get it on. That's an 80s song by Dr. Hook, I think. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, Madam Gina. That wrong voice again. Oh, no, not the German. Oh, that's the German. And we are back. This is gonna be cut. Thanks. Hi, and welcome back to chapter 14, part 3. And we are just going to continue swiftly what we've begun here. Oh, Madam Mina, he said, how can I say what I owe to you? This paper is as sunshine. It opens the gate to me. I am dazzled with so much light, and yet clouds roll in behind the light every time. But that you cannot comprehend. Oh, but I am grateful to you. You're so clever woman. Madam, he said this very solemnly, if ever Abraham Van Helsing he can do anything for you or yours, I trust you will let me know. It will be pleasure and delight if I may serve you as a friend, but all I have ever learned, all I can ever do, shall be for you and those you love. There are darkness in life and there are lights. You are one of the lights. You will have happy life and good life, and your husband will be blessed in you. But doctor, you praise me too much and you do not know me. Not to know you, I, who am all, and who have studied all my life, men and women, I, who have made my specialty the brain and all that belongs to him, and all that follow from him, and I have read your diary that you have so goodly written for me, and which bears our truth in every line. I, who have read your so sweet letter to poor Lucy, of your marriage and your trust, not know you? Oh, Madam Mina, good woman tell all their lives, and by day, and by hour, and by minute, such things that angels can read, and we men who wish to know, have in us something of angel's eyes. Your husband is noble nature, and you are noble too. For you, my trust, and trust cannot be where there is mean nature. And your husband, tell me of him. Is he quite well? Is all that fever gone, and is he getting strong and hearty? I saw here an opening to ask him about Jonathan, so I said. He has almost recovered, but he has been greatly upset by Mr. Hawkins' death. He interrupted. Oh yes, I know. I have read your last 2 letters. I went on. I suppose this upset him, for when we were in town on Thursday last, he had a sort of shock. A shock, and after a brain fever so soon. That was not good. What kind of shock was it? He thought he saw someone who recalled something terrible, something which led to his brain fever. And here the whole thing seemed to overwhelm me in a rush. The pity for Jonathan, the horror which he experienced, the whole fearful mystery of his diary, and the fear that has been brooding over me ever since, all came in a tumult. I suppose I was hysterical, for I threw myself on my knees and held up my hands to him and implored him to make my husband well again. He took my hands and raised me up and made me sit on the sofa and sat by me. He held my hand in his and said to me with, oh, such infinite sweetness, my life is a barren and lonely one, and so full of work that I have not had much time for friendships. But since I have been summoned to here by my friend John Seward, I have known so many good people and seen such nobility that I feel more than ever. And it has grown with my advancing years, the loneliness of my life. Believe me, then, that I come here, not in what I am seeking of, but that there are good women still left to make life happy. Good women whose lives and whose truths may make good lesson for the children that are to be. I am glad that I may here be of some use to you. For if your husband suffer, he suffer within the range of my study and experience. I promise you that I will gladly do all for him that I can. Yes, all that I can, all to make his life strong and manly. All. And your life a happy one. Now you must eat. You are overwrought and perhaps over-anxious. Husband, Jonathan would not like to see you so pale, and what he liked not where he laughed is not to his good. Therefore, for his sake, you must eat and smile. You have told me all about Lucy, and so now we shall not speak of it, lest it distress. I shall stay in Exeter tonight, for I want to think over what you have told me. And when I have thought, I will ask you questions, if I may. And then, too, you will tell me of husband Jonathan's trouble, so far as you can, but not yet. You must eat now. Afterwards, you shall tell me all. After lunch, when we went back to the drawing room, he said to me, now tell me about him. When it came to speaking to this great, learned man, I began to fear that he would think me a weak fool and the Jonathan a madman. That journal is also strange, and I hesitated to go on. But he was so sweet and kind, and he had promised to help, and I trusted him. So I said, Dr. Van Helsing, what I have to tell you is so queer that you must not laugh at me or at my husband. I have been since yesterday in a sort of fever of doubt. You must be kind to me, and not think me foolish that I have even half believed some very strange things. He reassured me by his manner as well as his words when he said, oh, my dear, if you only knew how strange is the matter regarding which I am here. It is you who would laugh. I have learned not to think little of anyone's belief, no matter how strange it be. I have tried to keep an open mind, and it is not the ordinary things of life that could close it, but the strange things, the extraordinary things, the things that make one doubt if they be mad or sane. Thank you 1,000 times. You have taken a weight off my mind. If you will let me, I shall give you a paper to read. It is long, but I have typewritten it out. It will tell you my trouble and Jonathan's. It is the copy of his journal when abroad, and all that happened. I dare not say anything of it. You will read for yourself and judge, and then when I see you, perhaps you will be very kind and tell me what you think. I promise, he said, as I gave him the papers. I shall in the morning, so soon as I can, come to see you and your husband, if I may. Jonathan will be here at 11:30, and you must come to lunch with us and see him then. You could catch the quick 3:34 train, which will leave you at Paddington before 8. He was surprised at my knowledge of the trains offhand, but he does not know that I have made up all the trains to and from Exeter, so that I may help Jonathan in case he's in a hurry. So he took the papers with him and went away, and I sit here thinking I don't know what. Letter by hand, Van Helsing to Mrs. Harker on the 25th September, 6 o'clock. Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. You may sleep without doubt. Strange and terrible that it is true. I will pledge my life on it. It might be worse for others, but for him and you there's no dread. He is a noble fellow, and let me tell you from experience of man, that one who would do as he did in going down that wall and to that room, aye, and going a second time, is not one to be injured in permanence by a shock. His brain and his heart are all right. This I swear, before I have even seen him. So be at rest. I shall have much to ask him for other things. I am blessed that today I come to see you. I have learned all at once so much, and again I am dazzled more than ever. And I must think. Yours, the most faithful, Bram Van Helsing. Letter, Mrs. Harker to the Nelsing, 25th September, 6:30 p.m. My dear Dr. Van Helsing, 1,000 thanks for your kind letter, which has taken a great weight off my mind. And yet, if it be true, what terrible things there are in the world. And what an awful thing if that man, that monster, be really in London. I fear to think I have this moment, whilst writing, had a wire from Jonathan saying that he leaves by the 6:25 tonight from Launceston and will be here at 10:18. Say that I shall have no fear tonight. Will you therefore, instead of lunching with us, please come to breakfast at 8 o'clock? If this be not too early for you, you can get away if you are in a hurry by the 10:30 train, which will bring you to Paddington by 2:35. Do not answer this, as I shall take it that, if I do not hear, you will come to breakfast. Believe me, your faithful and grateful friend, Mina Harker. Jonathan Harker's Journal, 26th September. I thought never to write in this diary again, but the time has come. When I got home last night, Mina had supper ready, and when we had supped, she told me of Van Helsing's visit, and of her having given him the 2 diaries copied out, and of how anxious she had been about me. She showed me in the doctor's letter that all I wrote down was true. It seems to have made a new man of me. It was the doubt as to the reality of the whole thing that knocked me over. I felt impotent and in the dark and distrustful, But now that I know, I am not afraid, even of the Count. He has succeeded after all, then in his design in getting to London, and it was he I saw. He has got younger, and how? Van Helsing is the man to unmask him and hunt him out. If he is anything like what Mina says. We sat late and talked it all over. Mina's dressing, and I shall call at the hotel in a few minutes and bring him over. He was, I think, surprised to see me. When I came into the room where he was and introduced myself, he took me by the shoulder and turned my face round to the light and said, after a sharp scrutiny, "But Madam Mina told me you were ill, that you had had a shock." It was so funny to hear my wife called Madam Mina by this kindly, strong-faced old man. I smiled and said, "I was ill. I have had a shock, but you have cured me already." "And how?" "By your letter to Mina last night. I was in doubt, and then everything took a hue of unreality, and I did not know what to trust, even the evidence of my own senses. Not knowing what to trust, I did not know what to do, and so had only to keep on working in what had hitherto been the groove of my life. The groove ceased to avail me, and I mistrusted myself, Doctor. You don't know what it is to doubt everything, even yourself. No, you don't. You couldn't with eyebrows like yours." He seemed pleased and laughed as he said, "So, you are a physiognomist. I learn more here with each hour. I'm with so much pleasure coming to you to breakfast. And, oh sir, you will pardon praise from an old man, but you are blessed, your wife." I would listen to him go on praising Mina for a day, so I simply nodded and stood silent. "She is one of God's women fashioned by his own hand, to show us man and other women that there is a heaven where we can enter, and that its light can be here on earth. So true, so sweet, so noble, so little an egoist. And that, let me tell you, is much in this age. So skeptical and selfish. And you, sir, I've read all the letters to poor Miss Lucy, and some of them speak of you. So I know you since some days from the knowing of others, but I have seen your true self since last night. You will give me your hand, will you not? And let us be friends for all our lives." We shook hands, and he was so earnest and so kind that it made me quite choky. "And now," he said, "may I ask you for some more help? I have a great task to do, and at the beginning it is to know. You can help me here. Can you tell me what went before you going to Transylvania? Later on I may ask more help, and of a different kind, but at first this will do." "Look here, sir," I said, "does what you have to do concern the Count?" "It does," he said solemnly. "Then I am with you, heart and soul. As you go by with 10:30 train, you will not have time to read them, but I shall get the bundle of papers. You can take them with you and read them in the train." After breakfast, I saw him to the station. When we were parting, he said, "Perhaps you will come to town if I send to you and take Madame Mina too." "We shall both come when you will," I said. I had got him the morning papers and the London papers of the previous night, and while we were talking at the carriage window, waiting for the train to start, he was turning them over. His eye suddenly seemed to catch something in one of them, the Westminster Gazette. I knew it by the colour, and he grew quite white. He read something, intently groaning to himself. Mein Gott! Mein Gott! So soon! So soon! I do not think he remembered me at the moment. Just then the whistle blew, and the train moved off. This recalled him to himself, and he leaned out of the window and waved his hand, calling out, Love to Madam Ida. I shall write so soon as ever I can. Next on chapter 14, finale of chapter 14. And bless me, you and the kids of tomorrow, and happy good day until the next part of chapter 14. I got to sneeze again.